And we are live. Hello everyone. Welcome to a early Friday special. I'm going to see about doing some of these early live streams and then I could do another late live stream and you could be watching from anywhere around the country or the world and I appreciate you, or you could be watching anywhere in the galaxy as well because we are aliens. Because we are the alien spaceship. We have them as well. And some of you may be seeing this as a rerun. So I am thankful for those that are tuning in or those that are seeing it as a rerun. And now we'll be switching over to the other screen. Okay. So hello, it's me, Alien Spaceship, and this is a early Friday special because something that I want to try to do is do some maybe a live stream on Friday or so a little bit earlier for people to see it that might not be able to see the late ones. And although this is a surprise live, there wasn't much warning about this. It's just, you could say like a test in a way. And also, what I always do during the live streams is I play a game first while we have people come through, and then I'll get into some other stuff. I'm not going to be solely gaming on this one, but the gaming streams are something that I am going to be working on. Solely doing gaming as only. Hello, Kathy. Good to see you. It's been a while, Kathy, since I've seen you because of the trials has not been going on because of the break. And I hope that you had a very Merry Christmas and it went well for you. Also, I had a good Christmas. I saw the Grinch movie. I saw the original one that was a cartoon, and the one with Jim Carrey. I saw that one. And hello, Shecky. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream. I'm glad that you're here with us. And also, what I'm doing right now is seeing about starting the game, seeing how that goes. And if for some reason the game servers are doing their maintenance or something, we'll get into the other things to talk about. So the game is here, and I'll talk about the stuff while I play the game. I'll do both, and then I'll get into some other topics for you all too. We'll read about as well. So what I do usually with the streams, I will play a game. Play a game first for a little briefly, very briefly, and since y'all are here, we will do the other parts as well. I'll talk about some of the other Christmas things too. All right. Well, I'm glad to hear about that, Kathy, and also I hope that you had a Merry Christmas too, Shecky. And let's see, the window is it's there. Yeah, it's there for them. Okay. Glad that y'all are tuning in here. Yeah, and I wanted to do these early lives, on a Friday. That'd be good. So y'all that are some of you that may not be able to see the really late ones I do can have this. All right, a streaming time with me. So basically, I play this in the beginning, and it'll be brief. It won't be too long. And I kind of do it also for people that that might not be here yet to give them some time to come while I talk about some of the topics. And also, I do some gaming here too. Yesterday, I did mostly gaming. Hello, Dwayne. Good to see you, Dwayne. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And Dwayne says, "Hi, Alien Spaceship. The video about the possum found you wouldn't let me leave a hello comment, so I clicked the like button." Dwayne, thank you for letting me know about that glitch. It's something other users have had that problem. You've had people over on the other some other users, some of our fellow aliens have had a problem with it too. Even Mary Toodles, my mom. So thank you for the like. And I understand you would have liked to have said hello, but it's something with YouTube. I don't know what's going on with them. But yeah, so basically I did a short about the possum finding me. Because I was going to... So with the cats, their heaters at night, I warm up the rooms. We don't leave it on the entire night. But basically, I go and take care of the heaters and check on the cats. So it's kind of a little bit late at the night. And then I saw, well, there's these possums that were having some warfare or they're chasing each other, and I saw the possum, and he came right up to me, and he found me, and he told me hello, and he was just talking to me, and it's like, it's nice to see you too, and I put it on the YouTubes for the people to see. So yes, there's possums that like to spy on me and see what I'm doing because they're interested in my alien activities, and I like seeing what they're doing as well. So yeah, that was a funny video, and he loved the cats and the possums. Yeah, I just got back from seeing E.T. He's doing. I don't know if I told you or you knew about this, but I think you knew about this. So E.T. had a problem. He was coughing a lot, and brought him to the vet. And he is doing. He may have some asthma or something about him. So basically, what he did was he. I brought him. We brought him in. Family. We brought him in, and he could have asthma, and he was given a special shot like a steroid, and ET's doing better, but he was a little bit not. He was coughing, kind of sick, and he's also a kitten, and his skeleton is very similar to a dog. It's a cat, but he has similar features to the canines. Well, canine's a certain type of dog, but he has certain features to the dogs with his skull and everything, and I thought that's pretty cool. He's like a cat chihuahua. And so he's doing good, and his partner Nermal, I brought her over to the other cage, to the main enclosure, the cat enclosure, to see the friends. Hello, Zero. Shout out to Zero. Him and I played Pirates of the Caribbean all night, and he helped me out a lot, and we had a great adventure last night. Shout out to you, Zero. So basically, with the cat, he would go, into the main area with the other ones, and I watch her because sometimes she would be a little feisty, but she's getting more well behaved. And Tweetzel's this very charming black and white cat, an Oreo colored cat, and he comes over and likes to relax in one of the chairs in the other room. And I got that done, and I'm like, I was glad to be able to come over and see all of you, because I'm like, I always like doing late night streams. I will always do that, but I also would like to make sure I do these streams for the earlier group. So yeah. Anyway, so basically, that was with the cats, the news of the cats, and Bubbles is doing good. He's over there, and I was feeding him. Yeah. So my Christmas, I was watching The Grinch, the two different versions, the original version and the one with Jim Carrey. It was very good, and I listened to some nice Christmas music, and exchange gifts with the family, and I it was a good night reflecting on Jesus, and we have the new year coming up. We have 2025. This year was pretty insane in many ways, and we have the also my trial friends. We've had a very interesting year with what's going on with the different crazy trials we've seen, and I was I was watching something about somebody that was connected to Chad Daybell and Lori. It was some other case, and the person was a crazy person, but they weren't connected to that crime, but they were like friends with Chad Daybell. So people that were like associated with Chad Daybell were also messed up people too. Something I learned, and I'm glad I saw the trial stuff to, because I saw that when it was going on. Dwayne says, I'll talk to you later. Tonight is date night, and we're out eating. Have a great live, buddy. Dwayne, have a great night, and thank you so much for dropping by and telling us hello. Shout out to you. All right, so yeah, so basically that's how my Christmas was going, and just reflecting on the year, and I'll be interested to see the trials in 2025. The girl that was involved with the Slenderman, this girl that deleted somebody because Slenderman told her to. I covered about the creepypasta before. There's this creepypasta which is like a fictitious, like a boogeyman type monster or folklore based off of memes and images from the internet. and the Slenderman's like this slender, bald apparition, kind of like the Nosferatu vampire. I'd say it's similar to that. But and this girl deleted somebody because this thing told her to do it, and the trial group there was a video about that they're covering. It wasn't live, but I saw some of that, and with Luigi Mangione, that he pled not guilty, and there's a lot of supporters of his, and there's a lot of people that are against what he did, and yeah, that is something that's been going on for quite, for a little bit now, and that's an interesting way to a horrible way in a sense to end the year, but yeah, there's a lot of division, a lot of stuff going on. I'm not saying that there needs to be some kind of reform with the system, but these people hopefully will, not take things so far like that. But yeah, so basically I saw that, and there was another trial that was going on with the hearing, no, not hearing, it may have been something like that with Luigi. As there was like the building they're showing because people couldn't go inside and film it because of the federal case. Zero, I'm not working on any particular quest. I'm just deleting the ships right now and just talking. I'm not working on any one in particular. So yeah, that was going on, and people in that chat were debating about the healthcare system and stuff like that. And YSL will start up again with the new defendants in February, a day before my birthday. And that one was, it's still going on. Hello, Stranded, my friend. Yes, I'm early. Yes, I am. You see all the people stranded when I just do it a little bit earlier. It's a little bit different. But as I said, I do like doing the late knives, not the late knives, but the late lives also. Because there's an audience of people that watch those, especially in other countries. But yeah, so basically I want to do these earlier ones for the people that I may not want to keep up all night, and some people that can't make it at all. Yeah, Stranded, I hope that you had a good Christmas, and you made, it looks like some delicious food. Delicious food you sent me. And Mary Toodles thought it was very delicious looking. I'm glad that you got to enjoy that. And I'm just kind of talking about how my Christmas went, and basically that I saw the original Grinch, and then the one with the movie that came out later about it. And I had a good Christmas reflecting on Jesus, reflecting, the gifts and stuff. Mine went very well. And I'm talking about an overview of the trials that there's no trials really anything new because of the new year and Christmas, but just there are some little showings here and there around right before the holiday that I was reflecting about, and they're still posting, Long Crime still posting videos about different trials and stuff. The last one we were all there for was Diddy. Well, that was like right before Christmas, and that was, yeah, so basically I was watching that one, and like, for instance, Kathy, I was walking on the side getting something off the porch, and these roofers that were there a couple of months ago didn't pick up all the nails, so I stepped on a nail in the back of my foot, and it didn't, that wasn't really too good, and I bled a little bit, and I got it patched up. It was while I was watching, I was listening to the Diddy thing, and for a couple of days it was very sore, but thankfully I'm all better now. But yeah, so that was an interesting way to start the holiday, and yeah, I miss my chat friends from the Long Crime group. Shout out to all of them. Yesterday, Remy came by briefly. It was very, very late here. It was early in the morning over there. It was like 10 over there. And she saw me for a little bit, for a few minutes, and we were with Sarah. was she's in Japan. She's okay. So Sarah is American. I don't know you not. I don't think you met Sarah. Okay, so Kathy, Sarah came back, and Sarah, I don't know if you met her yet. She's an American, and her husband's Japanese, and they moved over there in the '90s. So they moved like over there at some point. But she was in the States for her whole life, and he was here too. But they moved over there, and she came back, and I'm glad that she's doing okay. She went through a lot of very messed up things during her when she was gone. And yes, okay, Sarah. Okay, I wasn't too. Yeah, shout out to Sarah. I don't know because sometimes with all the stuff going on, I don't always know if I quite remember certain things because there's so many people to keep up with. But okay, yeah, shout out to Sarah. Yeah, she is. I said she is going to be, you know, at the earlier streams. I mean, at the later streams usually because she's over there in Japan. It's a different time. But yeah, so she and Remy met, and yeah, shout out to Remy and Sarah. Very cool people. Very cool chat friends. Makes you want to ask if you're American. Yeah. And I'm from another planet. And Zero, I'll answer your question. I'm from another planet, but I am here and planted in the United States. So basically, now technically, my father is British and he lives over there. He's much older now. He's an older man now. But I talked to my uncle. He doesn't really know how to use technology. Like, he wouldn't know how to like go on these live streams. Oh, okay. Yeah, I will do that, Zero. All right. So I am American, but my father's from England. No, Sarah's not back in the states. She's back in the stream. That's what I meant. All right. I see it's having some issues. All right. But let's see. And okay. So I think we're coming back now. Okay, it's back now. Okay, cuz I don't want this thing going down. Okay. And Sarah says it was tasty. Got to get the leftover ham in bags and put it in the freezer. Okay. Okay, what happened, Zero? My stream was having a problem for a second, and it just. I didn't. I was wondering if that was causing it to go down. Because sometimes there might be. It might cause it to happen. And also, so, basically, I know it's kind of awkward, but we're back now. Everything's back now. I don't know, and I might start a reading of one of the Christmas things I want to look at with y'all. But let's see. Yeah, whoa, trippy. Yeah, yeah. But sometimes it does it. But so I'm just going to stand here for a second and talk. Okay, so yeah, so that's what So Sarah, she's back here, and in the not in the states. She's over in Japan, but she had some eye operation, but she was still able to communicate with me a little bit. I read her about Krampus because I was talking about that, and she wasn't completely here for it, so I reviewed it with her. And also, just reflecting on the trials about what's going on with that, and they had some different things to just like what happened to this point in time, and they had the verdicts before the holidays, and right. So there's that. Yesterday there was some very bad weather that was going on, and in Texas, and I thought it was going to come here. So basically, what I did was I wasn't sure about starting it, but it was going to be okay. So I decided to do it anyway. And because the weather was okay in this part of my neck of the woods, and also, so that's what the stuff that I was keeping up with. And let's see. Okay, that's cool. You can put that field out if you want to. He's saying. Okay, that's cool. You can head out if you'd rather. Okay, okay. And yeah, so basically, in movies, a movie I'm going to see is the new release of Nosferatu, and I like some spooky movies like that, and it's a remake of it, and it hasn't been one like that since '79. And basically, and for Sarah that might be rewatching this, Red One is Red One is a Christmas movie, and she was telling me she watched it right after I talked about Krampus, and I saw that with Mary Toodles a little while earlier in the Christmas season. And yeah, because so Sarah, she got hacked. Some people that were into some witchcraft were communicating with her, and that didn't go too well. And there's a lot of attacks, but she was able to overcome it, and she was back. And I didn't know what happened to her, but she went through like a Twilight Zone apocalyptic episode of horrible things, like Job, like something from the Bible from Job. She was in a part of Japan. Somebody tracked her phone, got all of her information, and it was just contacted her other, like her daughter, her family members. It was just, it was a lot of crazy stuff going on over there. And Kathy says, I think I met Sarah. I know for sure you had talked about her very fondly. Now I'm questioning my memory. Kathy, if you said you met her, I believe you had to have met her, because it's just, she's been here for a very long time. And longer than you were. So you had to have met her, because you were here over a year ago. You had to have met her. It was just a little while back since you've seen her, because she has not been here because of the problems that happened. And yeah, but she is doing good now. Now, I will say the game, everything's working well, and I'm going to. So, shout out to Zero. I usually do some gameplay with him. I might get into. I'll talk about some things I was talking about recently with the Christmas, some Christmas stories. I talked about the movies and things like that. Maybe we'll see if there's anything news going on. And since y'all are here, because this was the dream I wanted to do. Yeah, Sonic 3 also. Alright, so I'm going to close the game, and we're going to go into these other topics. And I do gaming streams solely, so there's going to be times where I will do a complete gaming stream. Yesterday, I did a gaming stream for most of the time. So basically what happened was, him and I were in the ship, and we had some people come through that were other ships that joined us, and we attacked an entire fleet of warships. And I was part of my friend's crew, and then it was a woman, it was a girl, this lady that is a friend of my friend. So my friend Sam, his friend, she was the captain, brought me in the crew. Then she left. He became the captain. Then I became the captain. And although the other ones left, we had victorious. Thank you, Zero, for the kind message about my stream. And basically, I got that crew successfully demolishing all the enemy ships. We played for most of the time. Him and I did some quests together. We went to the scary island. It was awesome. All right, now let's close this down. And I usually do the gaming streams. Sometimes I'll do a complete gaming stream. the whole time. Now, for right now, since some of you are, some other ones are here, I want to talk about some things I talked about before. Okay, let's see. And now we'll switch over. We'll get the spaceship cats. All right. Okay, let's see how this goes. And it went down. Okay. It may have some shock from ending the game, but it'll recuperate itself like it did before. It's coming back up. All right. So, any issues? Let me know. A shout out to the spaceship cats. All right. So shout out to the spaceship cats, and I'm going to talk about some things I've been talking about. And so basically, Kathy, this character Krampus, which is from German and like Central European folklore, which I'm sure you already know about it. It was this demonic monster thing that the ancient Germanic people worshipped as a god at some point, and they incorporated it back into Christianity as their tradition in Christmas. But it's kind of a scary tradition. So, like when kids are bad, this Krampus thing is going to snatch them and delete them. And sometimes the Germans can be pretty morbid with things. They're known for that. But so that's basically a tradition that was from a little while back, and they're still doing stuff today. Like they'll dress up as the Krampus, and it'll be accompanied with Saint Nicholas. But Saint Nicholas is an accomplice to it because Saint Nicholas can't punish kids, but he's bringing them with him. It's kind of funny in a way that he can't do it himself, so he has to have the other thing do it. Stranded says, "Is Zero talking to you in a different chat because I'm not seeing their comments?" Okay, Zero was talking to me in the Pirates of the Caribbean chat room. There's a separate chat in the game he was talking to me in. And I'll give you a little overview, Kathy, about it. And some of you have seen me talk about this before, but we are doing this for the early special for the early people that are watching. All right, so the Krampus is a horned anthropomorphic figure. Yes, absolutely. And figure who is in the Central and Eastern Alpine folklore tradition, is said to accompany St. Nicholas on visits to children during the nights of 5 December, Krampus night. Immediately before the feast of St. Nicholas on December 6th, in this tradition, St. Nicholas rewards well-behaved children. There you go, there's Zero. With small gifts, while Krampus punishes badly behaved ones with a birch rods. And those are some people dressed up as Krampus. You have St. Nicholas, and there's like a Catholic theme to it, and you have these different grotesque monsters. And basically, what this thing would be, which I was talking to Sarah about. So, according to Christian theology and the theology about it is that the Krampus type creature obviously would be something demonic, and also when the fallen angels they mixed with things on Earth, including good cop, bad cop. Yes, exactly, Eugene. They mixed with all kinds of creatures on Earth, including humans, and there could have been a laboratory, and also, but the scripture is quite clear that if things got like spicy, like they had relations with them and had offspring with them that way, and the Krampus type creature is some sort of a hybrid thing that was created by that. Like there is the fawns in mythology, or the Pan, these human animalistic hybrids. So, according to some may think of a mythology, but in the Christian and also the Abrahamic religions in general would all agree that that was something that occurred a long time ago. Thus, the explanations for these false gods. All right. The origin of the figure is unclear. Some folklorists and anthropologists have postulated that it may have pre Christian origins. In traditional parades and in such events as Krampuslauf, Krampus Run, young men dressed as Krampus attempt to scare the audience with their antics. Krampus is featured on holiday greeting cards called Krampus Karten. The figure has been imported into the popular culture around the world and has appeared in movies and TV and games. Yeah, Stranded. I understand what you feel about that. Also, Stranded, Dwayne was saying he was trying to comment on one of my videos and it didn't work. So he had the same problem you and Kathy have had. So it's YouTube. It's not me. If I had like my app in the future, the website kind of like YouTube, I'll that problem will be fixed in a heartbeat. Okay, we wouldn't have that problem, if it's my website, right? And Krampus is like the anti-Santa. Exactly. Yes. Discussing his observation in 1975 while entering a small town in Styria, anthropologist John J. Honigman wrote that the St. Nicholas festival we are describing incorporates cultural elements widely distributed in Europe. St. Nicholas himself became popular in Germany around the 11th century. The feast dedicated to this patron of children is only one winter occasion in which children are the objects of special attention, others being Martinmas, the festival of the Holy Innocents, and New Year's Day. Scared. We don't want them coming down the chimney. Scared. Yeah, so Sarah was saying yesterday, Kathy, that basically to board up the chimney completely. Kathy, yeah, so you met Sarah before, okay? You were here long enough to have known Sarah. She's just not been here for a long time. I just was thinking about it. You knew her. You know her. And New Year's Day, masked devils acting boisterously and making a nuisance of themselves are known in Germany since at least the 16th century. While animal masked devils combining dreadful comic Scharriglostig antics appeared in medieval church plays. A large literature, much of it by European folklorists, bears on these subjects. Austrians in the community we studied are quite aware of the heathen elements being blended with Christian elements. In the St. Nicholas customs and in traditional winter ceremonies, they believe Krampus delivers from a pagan supernatural who's assimilated in the Christian devil. Look at my dude, Matt. Shout out to Matt, MR, in the chat. Chris Kringle is the interdimensional time elf. Nothing will stop him. Always great with the wit. Shout out to you. Excellent. And that was very well said. Shout out to you. I'm glad you're here with us. Krampus is usually featured as a man with horns, with one grotesque human foot and 1 foot of a goat. He is typically covered in black hair and has very long snake or dragon-like tongue. These qualities have increasingly made Krampus a character for horned costumes and films. In the 17th century, Krampus was paired with St. Nicholas as a helper. Because Nicholas is a saint, it wasn't logical or deemed saintly behavior for Nicholas to develop punishments. Therefore, a helper was assigned to Nicholas, such as farmhand Rupert Schmutzy or Perry Fountard, who would go down the chimney or punish the naughty children. Krampus served St. Nicholas in the same role. Eugene says, I have a theory, but I can't prove it, but the symbolism supports but not edited Christian text. Understood, Eugene. Thank you for sharing that with us. All right, so this is somebody dressed as Krampus. Scared. You see how It's kind of like a human, but it's like a humanoid, like a furry. That's like what it is, like those furries. But it's like a human, but it's also a hybrid between an animal too. Modern history. In the aftermath of 1932 election in Austria, the Krampus tradition was prohibited by Dollfuss regime. Under the critical fascist Fatherland Front, Vaterland Dich Front, and the Christian Social Party. In the 1950s, the government. Yes, he looks like the goat. I agree. Greatest of all time. Distributed pamphlets titled Krampus is an evil man for fear that encounters with Krampus might damage children's mental health. Towards the end of the century, a popular resurgence of Krampus celebrations occurred and continue today. Krampus tradition is being revived in Bavaria as well, along with local artistic tradition of hand-carved wooden masks. Appearance. Although Krampus appears in many variations, most share some common physical characteristics. He is hairy, usually brown or black, and has one foot has the cloven hoof and horns of a goat. His long pointed tongue drops out, and he has fangs. Krampus carries chains, and him carrying chains, that reminds me of Scrooge. That reminds me of the ghost that came to see Scrooge. By the way, on Christmas, around Christmas, I also saw Scrooge. And also, I saw a couple different versions of it. That was very good. A very good movie. And, that is a good message to send to people, that people might perceive the CEO of United Health like that. And you see how they didn't delete Scrooge, but they just showed him like how he could do different, and if he is deleted in that state, what would happen. And there could be other peaceful alternatives rather than going through violence, in my opinion. And I'm not, as I said, I'm not saying that the system could have improvement. I'm just saying that there's other ways to express oneself. And I think that the Christmas Carol is so famous because the way they express how to deal with things like that. It's a good life lesson. Jacob Marley was the ghost with the chains. Correct. Thank you for saying the name. Thank you. And yes, the name was Jacob Marley. Thank you. Krampus carries chains, thought to symbolize binding of the devil by the Christian church. He thrashes the chains for dramatic effect. The chains are sometimes accompanied with bells of various sizes. Krampus will carry a bundle of birch branches with which he occasionally swats children. The birch branches are replaced with a whip in some representations. On Christmas Eve, Krampus travels with a sack of baskets strapped to his back. This is the cart of evil children for drowning, eating, or transport to hell. Some of the older versions make mention of the naughty children being put in the bag and taken away. This quality can be found in other companions of St. Nicholas, such as Zwart Piet. You did paint that recently on your stream, Gam. And thank you, Gam, for seeing and telling us hello here. Shout out to you, Gam. I enjoyed your stream the other night. Very good with your artistic talents. Excellent. Eugene says, this might be off topic, but I was having an argument about Frozen being a winter holiday movie. Thoughts, chat? And Kathy says, anything with snow or ice is a holiday movie, in my opinion. I agree. I also saw It's a Wonderful Life. That's a very good moral lesson about, every life matters, and if one person wasn't here, it would be totally different. Also, I saw, again, I'm Not Ashamed, which is about this Rachel Joy Scott, who is deleted. It was murdered in the Columbine massacre. She was very of outspoken about her Christian faith, and there's a movie about her that came out in 2016. It was very good. I watched that again. Very good message. She has very wise quotes in her diary she had. Shout out to her. I saw that and around on Christmas as well, and I saw the Scrooge movie. So I saw a bunch of movies I was watching on Christmas. And shout out to you, Matt, again. He said, I've never seen it. I prefer frozen vegetables over frozen movies. Excellent. Does Edward Scissorhands count as a holiday movie? I think there's only a bit of snow at the end. You know, I would count that as a holiday movie. And they have a Christmas theme to it. And I think that it's also a good Halloween movie also. Very similar to Nightmare Before Christmas. It fits in with Halloween, and it fits in with the other movie too. The Halloween and Christmas. They both would fit into Halloween and Christmas. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I agree, Kathy. Krampusnacht. The feast of St. Nicholas is celebrated in parts of Europe on 6 December. On the preceding evening of 5 December, Krampus nights or Krampusnacht. The wicked hairy devil appears on the streets, sometimes accompanying St. Nicholas and sometimes on his own. Krampus visits the homes and businesses. The saint usually appears in Eastern Rite vestments of a bishop, and he carries a golden ceremonial staff, unlike the North American versions of Santa Claus. And the celebrations of St. Nicholas concerns himself only with the good children, while Krampus responds for the bad. Nicholas dispenses gifts, while Krampus supplies coal and root. Technically, the first part of Batman Returns takes place over Christmas, if I remember correctly. Yes, you're correct. That's true. Yes. One thing I want to say about UFOs, I believe UFOs and aliens are real, obviously, but the drones that are flying over, they're allegedly trying to detect some nuclear device that went missing, and it was, and they're drones from the U.S. government that are trying to look for the missing piece. That's what it seems to be. And also at the same time, in my tinfoil hat, this is a little bit far out, that the aliens and the government made these certain agreements, and that it could also have to do with a drill or a practice run with some of the technology that they got from the ETs. And of course, everybody's laughing. It was funny. It was funny. But I believe that maybe some of the technology could have been indirectly influenced by the ETs about technology they got from them. I do believe humans are capable of building that themselves, of course, but I do think it could have something slight to do with that, but not in the way people think. They're drones from our government looking for something. That's what I think they are, in my opinion. And also, Christmas movies. I saw a Red One, and Sarah just saw it on Amazon Prime, and if it wasn't that, it was another. If it wasn't that, it was another streaming service. She saw that, and basically, she was, saying it was a coincidence because I was talking about Krampus, and I saw that earlier this year. I saw that earlier this month. It was a very good movie. Superman's good any time of the year. Like, they released Nosferatu on Christmas Day. Now, in some sense, that might be kind of a, sometimes they'll make a bright holiday into a dark holiday. But, Nosferatu is a movie that I'm going to be seeing, okay? I love that movie. And that movie came out on Christmas, but that's a Christmas-type movie, and also it's very scary. And I would say it fits in Christmas because it has snow. But it's also a Halloween type movie. He was talking about it. Yeah, I want to see it too. That's a very good movie, Superman. I saw Superman in 2006. Yeah, I saw that in 2006. I was wearing a Superman costume. A tree fell over, and I was walking through it because I like walking through the wilderness. In a I felt something on my arm pinching me, and it felt kind of prickly and stingy. And a caterpillar was there to walk on Superman's arm while I'm wearing the Superman costume. That was the first time I was stung by a caterpillar. The Thing should therefore be counted as one of those backdoor Christmas movies because it's a frozen snow. Maybe Empire Strikes Back now. That's we're talking about the topic. Yes. Snow it qualifies, I agree. Yeah, yeah, I agree with Kathy and Stranded. Yes. Lethal Weapon is a Christmas movie. All right, we'll look into that. And also, Perchtenlof and Krampuslof. There was already established pagan traditions in the Alpine regions that became intertwined with Catholicism. People would masquerade as a devilish figure known as Perch, a two-legged humanoid goat with a giraffe-like neck wearing animal furs. People wore costumes and marched in processions known as Perchtenlofen, which are regarded as earlier form of the Krampus runs. Perchtenlofen were looked at with suspicion by Catholic Church and banned by some civil authorities due to the sparse population and rugged environments within the Alpine region. The ban was not effective or easily enforced, rendered the ban useless. Eventually, the Perchtenlof, inspired by Nicholas plays, introduced Saint Nicholas and his set of good morals. The Perch transformed into what is known as the Krampus and was made to be subject to Saint Nicholas as well. Facts. All right, so Kathy, I saw a video which I have to watch the whole thing, but I saw a lot of a video from Harvard. That Harvard has a YouTube channel and they put out good content. I've learned a lot from them. Harvard University, same school that Zuckerberg and Gates and many others went to, and so they have articles, and I've learned things from the trials like they talk about, and they'll have like the different. There's different law like physics stuff in physics they've talked about. I saw some articles from Harvard about them, and I've like studied about it. So Harvard was talking about the manifolds in one of their lectures, but it was on YouTube. And a manifold is a type of cylindrical circular form of something. Like the Earth is a manifold. A UFO is a manifold. And so is this thing. It has like a circular type form to it. This is a cool light, and it changes different colors. Just for aliens. Us aliens need these things to see around the different places. So that's what a manifold is. And you may already know what a manifold is, of course. I just learned about it, and that's something that I was talking about in the stream. Kathy, I'm glad you're having a good time. Yes, I studied about the car manifolds. When Rebel was here, yeah, we were talking about the engines and how they have manifolds in them. Correct, yes. And also pneumatic systems, yes. Yes. Car engines have manifolds and connections to exhaust. Yes, exactly. And Gam saying, also the best Krampus movie you'll find is Finnish film called Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale. Thank you, Gam, for the movies. Thank you. It is customary to offer Krampus a Krampus schnapps, a strong distilled fruity brandy. These runs may include Perchten, similar wide pagan spirits of Germanic folklore, and sometimes female in representation, although the Perchten are properly associated with the period between winter solstice and 6th of January. Was Planes, Trains, and Automobile a Christmas or Thanksgiving movie? It's been a long time since I've watched it. I don't know about it. But Matt said it's Thanksgiving. Okay, okay. Thanks, chat, for helping Stranded. I want to thank all of you for being here, by the way. Shout out to all of you. Oh, Bubbles is right next to me. Shout out to Bubbles. He's in his chair. We had a blower on our wood stove. I think it had a manifold. Ah, okay. Well, thank you, Kathy, for letting me know about that. Manifolds are everywhere. Snow. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Criticism for the Krampus run. Every year there are arguments. There are arguments during Krampus runs. Occasionally, spectators take revenge for whippings and attack Krampuses. In 2013, after several Krampus runs in East Tyrol, a total of 8 injured people, mostly with broken bones, were admitted to the Lienz District Hospital, and over 60 other patients were treated on the outpatient basis. Yeah, if you're asking a question, Kathy, about this, so yeah, they have these Krampus runs, and so people dress up as Krampus and attack people, and then this other group of people gets revenge. These people are over in Germany. It's crazy. Yes, Eugene, you could plug in the channel. Yes. If Stranded wants to do that, or somebody, one of the mods wants to do that, they can. Or if, because, yeah. Yeah, so Eugene has a good channel, and those that have channels, like Gam has a channel, I'm thinking. So that's the only two I know about that have channels. But yes, feel free to share your channels. Go for it. We're all here to help each other out. I don't mind it at all. We're all part of the spaceship. Stranded says, "Oh gosh, I'm pretty sure I was high as F watching Uncle Buck." That was back in the smoker days. Ah, okay. I know I've seen it, but doesn't remember. Shit. Stranded. If I could go in a time machine and watch that with you and blaze up, I would. That sounds really fun. Shout out to you. Yeah, shout out to Eugene. He has good content. You see, Eugene, I go live earlier. I told y'all before. There's a whole audience of people. There's more people than you see. Like they're not all here. If all my friends were in this chat room, you'd have like nearly 1,000 people in here. But yeah, you have a bunch of new people because that is where, because at night everybody's sleeping, except people in other countries. Yes, we did say that, Zero. We did. Yeah, but Kathy, it's crazy. A total of 8 injured, mostly with broken bones, were admitted to the Linz District Hospital, and over 60 other patients were treated on an amputated basis. Krampuskarten. Krampuskarten. Thank you, Stranded, so much. Thank you. Europeans have been exchanging greeting cards featuring Krampus since the 19th century, sometimes introduced with Grüß vom Krampus, greetings from Krampus. The cards usually have humorous rhymes and poems. Krampus is often featured looming menacingly over children. He is also shown as having one human foot and one cloven hoof. In some, Krampus has sexual overtones. He is pictured pursuing buxom women over time. The representation of Krampus in the cards has changed. Older versions have a more frightening Krampus, while modern versions have a cuter, more Cupid-like creature. Krampus has also adorned postcards and candy containers. Yeah, meteorology, yes. Make Bugsum great again. Related celebrations and associated figures. Krampus appears in folklore Austria, Bavaria, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Croatia and Czech Republic, Hungary, Romania, Northern Italy, autonomous province of Trento, South Tyrol, and Friuli Venice, Aya, Slovakia, and Slovenia. In Styria, and the root is presented by Krampus to families. The twigs are painted gold and displayed year round, and the house a reminder to any children who has temporarily forgotten Krampus. In smaller, more isolated villages, the figure has other beastly companions such as antlered wild man figures, and Saint Nicholas is nowhere to be seen. These Strian companions of Krampus are known as Shambana, Shabmana, or Ruhain. A toned down version of Krampus is part. Krampus is to families. The twigs and gold displayed year round. House reminder to the children. Oh, I read that already. It's Shab Mana or Ruhain. A toned down version of Krampus is part of the popular Christmas markets in Austrian urban centers in Salzburg. In these more tourist friendly interpretations, Krampus is more humorous and fearsome. Shout out to the mouse. The mouse had a it had an episode, but it's okay now. A toned down version of Krampus is parts of the popular Christmas markets in Austrian and urban centers in Salzburg, and these are more tourist friendly interpretations of Krampus, is more humorous than fearsome. Funny chat. North American Krampus celebrations are a growing phenomenon. Similar figures are recorded in neighboring areas Strandbot, Bavaria, Klabauffmann in Austria and Bavaria, while Bartel and Bartel Niglebart, Webbartel are used in the southern parts of the country. Other names include Beryl Bartholomeus, Schmutzli, Popel, Hupel, and Warsburg, Zember, and Belsmart, and Parismartel. In most parts of Slovenia, whose culture was greatly affected by Austrian culture, Krampus is called the Parkel and one of the companions of Miklavas. Miklavs, the Slovenian form of Saint Nicholas. Those are some people dressed up as Krampus. In many parts of Bosnia and Herzegovina in Croatia, Krampus is described as a devil wearing a cloth sack around his waist and chains around his neck, ankles, and wrists as part of the tradition. When a child receives a gift from St. Nicholas, he is given a golden branch to represent his good deeds. Throughout the year, however, if the child has misbehaved, Krampus will take the gifts for himself and leave only a silver branch to represent the child's bad acts. Okay, Eugene. Hopefully, we will. That'll be good to see you do that. Awesome, and hope that you recover quickly. Popular culture. The character of Krampus has been imported and modified for various North American media. Eugene, not Eugene, but including print Krampus, the Devil of Christmas, a collection of vintage postcards by Mont Beauchamp in 2004. Krampus, the Yule Lord, a 2012 novel by Gerald Brom. Krampus, a comic book series, Image Comic, in 2013 created by Dean Kotz and Brian Jonas. Television, both live action. Krampus Carol and the League. The animation, A Very Venture Christmas, a 2004 episode of Venture Bros. Minstrel Krampus, a 2013 episode of American Dad. Video game Cam Evil, 1998 arcade game. Binding of Isaac Rebirth, a 2014 video game. The films Krampus, 2015 comedy horror film. Film from the Universal Pictures. Games, action, adventure, comedy. Film Warner Brothers Pictures. Alright, that's the Krampus after a kid. Okay, Kathy, I'm glad you did that, thanks. And then you have this. This is someone dressed as Krampus going over there. And, messing with a kid because he didn't stuff up the chimney, so he couldn't come through. This is St. Nicholas and the Krampus, which looks like Satan. This is the Krampus. Another person dressed as Krampus. Imagine a guy like this attacking people and stuff. It's crazy. How wholesome. I agree, Shecky. I agree. Right, not Christmas-like at all. Scared. And then you have this one, which is the Krampus. It looks kind of like a goat. Looks kind of like a lamb. All right, and this is an old scene from Germany from 1800s or so. I'll tell you the exact year. No, it was 1910. This is 1910. And that's Krampus and the chain, and that's St. Nicholas and his missionaries, and that's a German village. Sarah was saying this is very similar to Japan. Although this is Germany. This is in Germany, but it's very similar. The building is similar to Japan, and also the way they're dressed, and those masks they're wearing are similar to the Japanese samurai masks they would wear. And in Japan, they have these certain masks that people wear, these like demonic looking masks, as part of their mythology. So it's very interesting, very similar. And this Krampus is looking like back in, the Pennywise clown. That's what he's looking like. Yes, SC Wolverines has a very good channel. Yes. Yes, I know. Very heartwarming. Yes. This one's the most beautiful one of them all. Scared. Scared. Yeah, and so basically, this thing, as I said, it has reptilian type eyes, like the fallen angels allegedly, and the horns, but also it's like a human. So it's like these things are roaming around, and God's like, it's time for a great flood. That's another one, and this is a whole bunch of them, like I showed earlier. Just showing. All right. All right. So you have that, and that is Krampus. You've heard of Stranded? Thank you. Kathy says, I first heard about Krampus on NCIS. Yes, that's very interesting. That's very interesting. And, so you've heard about it before, and that's interesting how you heard about it. Basically, what I did, I learned about Krampus. I study about Christmas mythology and stuff like that, and I learned about it. Also, I'm into German stuff because my family, my mom's side, have very strong German connections, and technically my father's side's also Germanic too, is related to Germans too, but my mom's side is more of the German theme. Hello, Alan. Good to see you. Alan is another friend of ours from the Law and Crime chat. He's very cool. They did Krampus on General Hospital. All right, thanks. We were just talking about Krampus. All right. And basically, what we will do is, let's see, Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge. Oh, you all know about this one, of course. Alan, we just finished talking about Krampus, and you can still give your commentary about it if you'd like. So, Alan, I was talking about Christmas, and also, Alan, I hope that you had a Merry Christmas. And basically, Alan, we were talking about Krampus and just the whole, you know, crash course on the mythology around him and his demonic origins and how it was part of a pagan thing the ancient Germanic peoples worshipped, and then they made it into a Christian thing. But of course, it's still an evil creature, but it's the ally. It's an ally of Santa that punishes the bad children. So yes, we talked about him just a moment ago, and kind of like the demonic fallen beings, I'm going to briefly talk about Ebenezer Scrooge. And it's like the Krampus is ew, ew, gross, and the kids would get scared. Yeah, so I think that the Krampus was working for Diddy secretly. That's what I think. Briefly, we'll talk about Scrooge, and I'll talk about, see about the time, we'll talk about UFOs. And Mary Toodles is taking care of doing some stuff with some of the cats. Whenever she comes back, the stream will be ending. And as I said, I am glad to have done this earlier stream because in Stranded, it's okay, Alan. It's okay. And you can watch a replay if you wanted to. You see Stranded in Eugene when I'm earlier, look all the people that are here. But I do late night streams. As I said, there's a whole, like, all right, we're going to go down the rabbit hole. And if I don't get to the Scrooge thing, we'll do it on the other one if she comes in. So anyway, so the reason why we do the late night streams, I always watch streamers that were late. And I'm a night owl. And also, a thing that occurred was the timing with different things that we were doing with the cats and stuff. It was just, I was trying them out late at night because it would be a little bit more convenient. And also, another reason why I didn't. And hello, Latina. Good to see you. And also, basically, what happened was there was Amanda and Peach, right? So I did the late night streams. Latina was one of my first guests, and she brought people, and she's very good at bringing people to the channel. She's very good at it. And also, what happened was I was starting kind of late, and then what I did was you had a situation where I was originally still going to do it on Monday and Friday. So what happened was Rebel saw the one on Monday. Him and I were talking about the abyssal fish. It was like a year ago. And then Peach was having some operation done, and she couldn't make it to the Thursday stream, the Friday stream, so she wanted me to go on Thursday. So I did Thursday and Friday. And Amanda wanted me to keep doing the late night streams because at the time she was staying up late. So for Amanda and Peach, those are the two reasons why I did the late night streams. And also there's an audience that watches them. And I will still do late night streams. And with the late night streams, I'm also going to do these early streams that you see right now for the people that can't make it to the late streams. All right? That's why I'm also going to do it other days. But this is the first run. So I'm glad I did it. And hope you're doing well, Latina. Thank you for being here with us. All right, so that's a brief summary of a very long story. And also there's an audience of people that like the late night streams, and people in other countries like the late night streams because it's daytime over there. But I'm still going to do those. But you all don't have to go to late night streams anymore because you have this stream to go to, and you can just sleep. You don't have to stay up late if you don't want to. But for those that like late night streams, I'll still do them for those people that want them. All right. Ebenezer Scrooge is a fictional character and the protagonist of Charles Dickens' 1843 novel A Christmas Carol. Initially a cold-hearted miser who despises Christmas, his redemption by visits from the ghost of Jacob Marley, the ghost of Christmas past. And yes, I am mixing up things a little bit, Latina, yes. And the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of Christmas yet to come has become a defining tale of Christmas holiday in the English-speaking world. Dickens describes Scrooge thus early in the story: the cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shriveled his cheek, stiffened his gite, made his eyes red, his thin lips blue, and spoke out shrilly in the granting voice throughout the novelia. Visits from the four ghosts now Scrooge the errors of his ways, and he transforms it into the more generous man. Scrooge's last name has entered in the English language as byword for greed, misanthropy, while his catastrophe, bah humbug, is often used disguised with many of the Christmas traditions. Alan says, I suspect that people just like alien streams because he's cool, just later early. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Alan, for the compliment. Thank you. And yes, people like me day or night. And yesterday, it was mainly a gaming stream, but I talked about the topics I talk about, but I did a gaming stream. And I'm going to start doing those. I will still do these type of streams like we're doing right now, reviewing things. But I will also do gaming streams because I like doing those, and an audience of people like them. So I do that also. Maybe not everybody's into the gaming streams, but I still do them. I will still do them. And also, I play a game in the beginning because I do different things here and there. Kathy says thanks for doing Alien, bringing some early streams. Tina says Alien Spaceship. Yeah, I'm glad it's not a gaming only video right now. I don't mind gaming as long as you also follow through with a topic in your video description. Yeah, and also Latina, I was going with the description. Not the description doesn't say anything, but you're talking about the title, I think. So basically, you weren't there before I was talking in the stream, but the first part of that stream says gaming. So the main thing was about gaming. But I talked while I did the gaming. I talk about the other stuff too. So it's like both of those things at the same time. So it did go with the title, in my opinion, but it was predominantly gaming. So if you see gaming in the first part, it might be predominantly more of a gaming thing, but you can always check out because, like right now, I'm doing this for people that were not here while I was doing these type of streams. But so yeah, but I will do gaming sometimes, and also and I sometimes will do gaming and talk about the other topic too. So just how I do things. I don't, I'm very eclectic. I sometimes do this or that in a stream. I'm a loose cannon, and I'm pretty hard to control. So there may be streams you might like and streams you may not be interested in, but it will not be static. It'll be, dynamic. It'll be different streams, different types of streams. All right. Also, all right, so Alan, a gaming stream is when I'm doing a gaming, when I play the pirate game the whole time. That's what I mean. Are you going to do Uncle Alien channel? You see, about that, Eugene, I don't make multiple channels. I do them all in one channel. That's why my videos have so many different topics. I do news. I do the scary stories. My most popular videos are when I react to videos and make a countdown of them. And Latina, your position is noted about what you said. I understand. I'll keep that in mind, though. Thank you. And also, basically, what I will do is I talk about that type of stuff here on the streams and the videos, and I'll do that frequently on my channel as well. And I've done that before here with my streams. I've done it before. The Uncle Alien channel. It's all here. All in one channel. You can make 1,000 channels or just do everything in one place. And as I said, because people know there's things I'll do they may not be interested in. And Eugene, I get what your joke is. And there may be other streams I may not be interested in. That people might, because it's eclectic. So whatever you're interested in, watch those videos or streams. If you're not interested in some other type of thing I do, that's okay. Just don't watch those videos or streams. And Stranded said, "Gait pronounced gate." It's the way the person walks. You see, Stranded, I thought that originally, and you are correct. But I've read so much Asian. I've been reading a lot of Japanese. I've been learning about it on my own, and also all these times with Sarah, we've studied Japanese words and stuff. So I started pronouncing things in a Japanese way. So the A and I make an I sound. So thank you for helping me remind me what the original pronunciation was. I would have known that before, but the other languages I get mixed up sometimes. Yes, it's an eclectic manifold. All right, we're all caught up. Thank you, Kathy. I'm glad that you like the streams and love the alien right here. All right. Dickens describes Scrooge thus early in the story. The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, chilled his neck and cheeks, and he always says, bah humbug. Charles Dickens describes Scrooge as a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scrapping, clutching, covetous old sinner, hard and sharp as a flint, secret and self-contained, and solitary as an oyster. He does business from Cornhill warehouse. Lord Roan, it's been so long. Good to see you. And Alan says, our boy Alien is a superstar on Law and Crime Network. Everybody loves him there. And Alan included. That is true. That is very true. Thank you, Alan, for making that clear. Yes, and Kathy agrees. Yeah. Thank you very much. All right. Shout out to Roan. I'm glad that Lord Roan. It's been a while, Lord Roan, since we've seen you. On any of the chats. Warehouse is known among the merchants for the Royal Exchange as a man of good credit, despite having considerable personal wealth. Considerable wealth. The warehouse is known among merchants, the Royal Exchange is a man of credible, and despite having considerable personal wealth, he underpays his clerk, Bob Cratchit. Yes, that's what I hired you for. Yeah, yes indeed. Work, 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 work. The hounds his debitors relentlessly, while living cheaply and joylessly in the chambers of his deceased business partner, Jacob Marley. Most of all, he detests Christmas, which he associates with reckless spending. When two men approach him on Christmas Eve for a donation to charity, he snares that the poor should avail themselves of the treadmill or the workhouse, or else die to reduce the surplus population. He also refuses his nephew Fred's invitation to Christmas dinner and denounces him as a fool for celebrating Christmas. He even frightens a young carol singer by gripping a ruler with a fit of energy. Scrooge resents giving a Cratchit Christmas day off, as there will be no business for Scrooge during the day. The night Scrooge is visited by Marley's ghost, who is condemned to walk the world forever, bound in chains as punishment for his greed and inhumanity in life. Marley tells Scrooge that he will be visited by three spirits in the hope that he will mend his ways if he does not. Marley warns Scrooge will wear even heavier chains than in his afterlife. The spirit, the ghost of Christmas past, shows Scrooge visions of his early life. These visions establish Scrooge's unloving childhood in the boarding school, where at Christmas he remained alone while his schoolmates returned home to their families. One of Scrooge's happy memories was when his sister Fawn, later Fred's mother, came to take him home one Christmas, saying that their hard-hearted father had changed. Scrooge then appreciated at the warehouse of a jovial, generous master, Mr. Freswig. He was engaged to a young woman named Belle, but gradually his love for Belle was overwhelmed by his love for money. Beau realized that he would resent her poverty and left him, eventually marrying another man. The present-day Scrooge reacts to his memories with nostalgia and deep regret. The ghost of Christmas Present arrives and shows Scrooge that his greed and selfishness have hurt those, as well as particularly Cratchit, who cannot afford to provide his desperately ill son, Tiny Tim, with medical treatment. Because of Scrooge's miserliness, the spirit tells an ashamed Scrooge that Tiny Tim will die unless, or be deleted rather, unless something changes, and throws back to Scrooge his own heart's heartless words about the poor. About throws back at Scrooge his own heartless words about the poor and destitute. Scrooge and the ghost also visit Fred's Christmas party, where Fred defends his uncle from guest snide remarks. Finally, the ghost of Christmas yet to come shows Scrooge where his greed and selfishness will lead: a lonely death and neglected grave, unpaid servants stealing his belongings, debtors relieved at his passing, and Cratchit family devastated by the loss of Tiny Tim. Scrooge asks the spirit if his future can still be changed, and begs for another chance, promising to change his ways, and finds himself in his bed on Christmas Day. An overjoyed Scrooge commits to being more generous and compassionate. He accepts his nephew's invitation to Christmas dinner, provides for Cratchit and his family, and donates to charity fund. From then, he says to have become the embodiment of Christmas spirit and became a second father to Tiny Tim. And that's a good story. And you see how he completely had to turn around and he changed from his dark, twisted ways. Hola, Senior DJ. Good to see you. All right, we got that. We got that. And that was pretty cool. I like how they had the table on the side. Yes, DJ, I do early streams. I'm going to start doing early streams for people that can't see it when it's late. And so people, I'll still do late night streams, but people don't have to watch it late. Late if they don't want to. You're with me now. An overjoyed Scrooge comments to being more generous and compassionate. He accepts his nephew's invitation to Christmas dinner, provides for the Cratchit and his family, and donates the charity fund. From then, he is said to have become an embodiment of Christmas spirit and became a second father to Tiny Tim. I read that. Several theories have put forward where Dickens got the inspiration for the character. Ebenezer Lennox Scrooge was supposedly a merchant from the Edinburgh who won a catering contract for King George the Fourth visit to Scotland. He was buried in Canongate Kirkyard with a gravestone that is now lost. The theory is that Dickens noted the gravestone that described Scrooge as being a meal man, grain merchant, but misread it as mean man. His theory has been described as a probable Dickens hoax, which no one could find any corroborating evidence. There is no record of anyone named Scrooge in the Edinburgh census returns of the period. Jemmy Wood, owner of the Gloucester Old Bank, possibly Britain's first millionaire, was nationally renowned for his stinginess and may have been another model for Scrooge, the man who Dickens eventually mentions in his letters, and who strongly resembles the character portrayed. Dickens' illustrator John Leech was noted British eccentric and miser named John Ells, 1714 to 1789. Although suggested inspiration for the character of Scrooge is Daniel Dancer, and Dickens mentions along with Ells or Our Mutual Friend. has been suggested that he chose the name Ebenezer. Ebenezer. Stone of help to reflect the help given to Scrooge to change his life. Commentators have suggested that the surname was partially inspired by the word Scrooge, meaning crowd or squeeze, which was used in the early 1800s. Kelly writes that Scrooge may have been influenced by Dickens' conflicting feelings for his father, whom he loved and loved demonstrated this psychological conflict may be responsible for the two racially different Scrooges in the tale. One a cold, stingy recluse, the other benevolent, loving man. Robert Douglas Fairhurst, a professor of English literature, considers that in the opening part of the book portraying young Scrooge, lonely, an unhappy childhood, his aspirations to rise from poverty and riches is something of a self-parody of Dickens' fears about himself. The post transforms the parts of the book of how Dickens optimistically sees himself. All right, Lord Roan, see you later. Yes, Scrooge McDuck. Latina, if you scroll up, Stranded already put the links to their channels. So if you were to scroll up, you would see it. But Stranded could put them back in the chat again if she would like, for those that like Eugene and whoever else she put in the links for. Yeah, shout out to Scrooge McDuck. Okay, Lord Roan, see you later. Shout out to you. Kelly writes that Scrooge may have been influenced by Dickens' conflicting feelings for his father, whom he loved, and demonized this psychological conflict may be responsible for the two radically different Scrooges in the tale, one a cold, stingy recluse, the other a benevolent, loving man. Robert Douglas Fairhurst, a professor of English literature, considers that the opening part of the book portraying young Scrooge's lonely and unhappy childhood and his aspiration to rise from poverty to riches is something of a self-parody of Dickens' fears about himself. The post-transformed parts of the book are how Dickens optimistically sees himself. All right, thank you, Stranded. One school of thought is that Dickens based Scrooge's views of the poor on those of political economist and demographer Thomas Malthus, as evidenced by the callous attitude towards the surplus population and the union workhouse. The treadmill and the poor law are vigor then. Hello, Trey. Good to see you. Welcome. I'm talking about some of the Christmas stuff. There are literally so right. So I read that. There are literally processors of Scrooge in Dickens' own words. And Eugene, I see your message. Okay, Scrooge in Dickens' own works. Peter Ackroyd, Dickens' biographers, see similarities between Scrooge and the title character of Martin Chuzzlewit. Although the latter is a more fantastic image than the former, Aykroyd observes the Chuzzlewit's transformation to a charitable man is parallel to Scrooge. Douglas Fairhurst sees that the minor character Gabriel Grubb from the Pickwick Papers was also influenced when creating Scrooge. Well, that's very great, Latina. I'm glad you had a great Christmas and you got to hug your fam. Awesome. Scrooge's character, particularly how it changes throughout A Christmas Carol, has been the subject to several analysts. The psychological phenomenon of increased generosity and altruism following the encounters with the mortality or existential dread is called the Scrooge effect. Yes, Trey, you get a wrench everywhere. Yes. You're always a sweetheart. You certainly are. And you get rid of the trolls very well. Those that are not mods, that are our friends here, are, of course, welcomed. And they could just relax and enjoy the stream and not be burdened with having to be a moderator. It's a tedious task. This alien right here gets off topic sometimes and triggers certain people. And makes certain people angry. So, but it's those that can handle all of my craziness and madness are the mods. Shout out to all of you. You're right, Zero. Understood. It's not for everybody. The character of Scrooge McDuck, created by Carol Barks, was at least partially based on Ebenezer Scrooge. I began to think of the great Dickens Christmas story about Scrooge. I was just a thief enough to steal some of the idea and how rich the uncle for Donald. Yes, like, share, subscribe. Thank you, Sheree. And we're gonna talk about Scrooge McDuck. We gotta roast this man. So, look at this man. Look at all of the fiat currency he has. He got his hat from Temu because he's so cheap. Alright. Alright, so Scrooge McDuck is a cartoon character created in 1947 for the Walt Disney Company by Carl Barks. Appearing Disney Comics, Scrooge is a Scottish-born American anthropomorphic Pekin duck, like his nephew Donald Duck. He also yellow-orange bill, legs, and feet. He typically wears a red or blue... Yeah, this is just a wrench. Yes. Scrooge is a Scottish-born American anthropomorphic Pekin duck, like his nephew Donald Duck. He has yellow-orange bill, legs, and feet. He typically... Exactly, Stranded's more crazier than me. Scared. Shout out to you, Stranded. Typically wears a red or blue frock coat, top hat, pince-nez glasses, and spats vary in color. He is portrayed as in animation as speaking with a Scottish accent. Originally intended to be used only once, Scrooge became one of the most popular characters in Disney comic world. As well as Barks' signature work, Scrooge is the Crypt Keeper. My friend, great to see you. Shout out to you. He's a friend of mine from the Creature Feature chat. Good to see you here. The original intended to be used only once, Scrooge became one of the most popular characters in Disney comics, as well as Barks' signature work. The Scrooge is an extremely rich duck, popular character who lives in the fictional city of Duckburg, which is also Donald Duck, the Huey, Dewey, and Louie's home city. The fictional U.S. state of Caliosta, a blend of California and Minnesota, whose claimed location is a real world California, United States. All right, and thanks for the information, Latina, about the name. Alan said our boy Alien Spaceship is one of the most cosmic people on the planet. He makes me so happy because he's a good guy on every level. Thank you so much, Alan. I really appreciate that. Life is like a hurricane. Here, a Duckburg. Here in Duckburg. And Latina says, Pavel, a male given name of Slavic origin that is equivalent to the English name Paul, Pavel. Well, that's very cool. Derived from the Greek name Pavlos, Latin family name Paulius, which means small. Thank you, Latina. Shout out to Latina. She's brought some pretty cool people here to the chat. And always enjoy her commentary on the channel. Very cool people. All right. Thank you, Latina. Named after the character Ebenezer Scrooge from the Charles Dickens 1943 holiday novella, A Christmas Carol, Scrooge is incredibly rich business magnate and self-proclaimed adventure capitalist whose dominant character traits are his wealth, frugality, and tendency to seek more money through adventure and treasure hunting. Scrooge founded the company called McDuck Enterprises. He is maternal uncle of Donald Duck and Della Duck, the maternal great uncle of Huey, Dewey, Louie, a financial backer of investor Grio Gearloose, and the works of the richest person, all within the context of the fictional Donald Duck universe. His business interests are comically diverse and all-inclusive. Both his money bin and Scrooge himself are often used as humorous metonyms for the great wealth and popular culture of the world. And Latina says, also don't believe in being a yes friend. I do share my thoughts and give opinions. Good to not be an echo chamber. And also, Latina, I agree with that. But, saying, if people want to say curse words or, insults, not curse words, but people want to, insult and take personal shots is not nice. Because if people don't like the stream, they could leave. So, I do agree with you. But at the same time, I do think that being mad over silly things is not right. But I do think it's good to not be a yes friend and say your thoughts and opinions about things as well. I do agree with you on that, yes. Mick Duck was initially characterized as a greedy miser and anti-hero, similar to Dickens' original Scrooge character. However, in the latter appearances, he has often been portrayed as a thrifty hero, adventurer, and explorer. He originally created by Barks as an antagonist. Right, Kathy. You could disagree, but have respect, though. Right. Exactly. What Kathy said. Crypt Keeper says, just stop by to say hi. Gotta hit the road so I can be home when CF starts. Merry Christmas, Alien. See you tomorrow. Yeah, see you tomorrow, the Crypt Keeper. Thank you for stopping by and telling us hello. Yeah, anybody can disagree with me, or anybody, because you don't want to just have people being a yes friend. I do agree with Latina, but you have to do it respectfully. And if it's something small and not that big of a deal, there's no need to have a big temper over certain things. at the same time. Dickens' original Scrooge character, however, in later appearances, he often been portrayed as a thrifty hero adventure explorer. He was originally created by Barks' antagonist for McDonald's. Right. You can argue the idea, but not make things personal. Right. First appearing in 1947, story A Christmas on Bear Mountain. A shout out to Zero right here. Be honest or shut up is what I was taught. I wasn't taught to be nice or be quiet, and just an alien spaceship just stated, if you think it's small, don't bring it up. Exactly. Exactly. Donald Duck Universe in 1952, he received his own comic book series called Uncle Scrooge, originally published from 1952 to 1984, and has various revivals over the years, and has of other Disney comic lines. The most recent revival by IDW Publishing ran from 2015 to 2020. Scrooge was most famously drawn by his creator Carl Barks, and then later by Don Rosa, like other Disney franchises. Have remained in Scrooge's primary medium, although he appeared in animated feature films and television programs, most extensively the 17 series of DuckTales in 1987 and 1990, and the reboot of 2017 and 2021 as main protagonists of both series. All right. And also, shout out to Mary Toodles, who's been helping the cats. And I'm glad. And also, I am going to be ending the stream now. And I might do a late night stream tonight, very much later. Probably most of you will be sleeping for people over in Europe and Asia. I don't know if I'm doing it though, but I certainly would do both of them next week for sure. Okay, well we could go until 10. How about that? I'll read a little bit more until 10. So I'm going to do it until 10, and then I will. Much later tonight, I'll do a stream. Probably. Maybe. Or maybe not. I don't know. For like maybe Sarah and maybe Super D comes around. And whoever else wants to stay up late. It's like an after party. Eugene says, I don't think it was related to Disney Duck Universe, but there was Duckula. The animation was the same. So we'll do this until my time, 10 my time. Then we'll end it. All right. First appearance. Scrooge McDuck material, uncle of previously... Yeah, right on. I'll say hi to Mary. I will. Scrooge McDuck material... I read that. Did I read that? Scrooge McDuck material, uncle of previously established character Donald Duck, made his first named appearance in the story Christmas on Mountain. It was published in Dell's for Comics in 178 on October 22, 1947, and written and drawn by artist Carl Barks. His appearance may have been based on similar-looking Scottish thrifty Saver Donald Duck character of the 1943 propaganda. Yeah, hi to Mary. Yeah, I'll tell her hello. And Kathy, I told him your Christmas message, by the way. And Strand says, while Uncle Scrooge McDuck has been around since 1957. I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that either. In Christmas on Bear Mountain, Scrooge was bearded and reasonably wealthy old duck, visibly leaning on his cane and living in isolation in a huge mansion. Scrooge's misanthropomorphic thoughts in this first story are quite pronounced. Here I sit in the big lonely dump, waiting for Christmas to pass. Bah, that silly season when everybody loves everybody else. A curse on it. Me, I'm different. Everybody hates me, and I hate everybody. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. Peter, Paul, and Mary. I like that. Barks later reflected on the betrayal, saying, Scrooge and Christmas on Bear Mountain was only my first idea of a rich old uncle. I had made him too old and too weak. I discovered later on that I had to make him more active. I could not make an old guy like that do things I wanted him to do. Barks would later claim that he originally only intended to use Scrooge as one shot character, but then decided Scrooge and his fortune could prove useful for motivating further stories. Barks continued to experiment with Scrooge's appearance, and personally, over the next 4 years, Scrooge's second appearance in Psychosocial. What a wonderful surprise to see you. Barks was later claimed that he originally only intended to use Scrooge as one shot character, but then decided Scrooge and his fortune could prove itself useful for motivating further stories. Barks continued to experiment with Scrooge's appearance and personality over the next years. Scrooge's second appearance in The Old Castle Secret, first published in June 1948, had him recruiting his nephews to search for rooting, yeah, for treasure. The chat told the oh the chat told you hi, and also they so the chat tells you hi, and Kathy tells you hi too.
Okay, you tell them I just got home.
Yeah, she just got home and she said hello. Oh, you gained access to the mine. That's great, Zero. All right. Barks would later claim that he originally only intended to use Scrooge as one shot character, but then decided Scrooge and his fortune could prove itself for motivating further stories. Barks continued to experiment. The Crypt Keeper said you was on Gonna Go Creature Features about to start. And thank you, Psychosocial, for letting me know. And I'll be ending this in like 10 minutes. I mean, not 10 minutes, whenever it reaches 10 o'clock. And I'll see about going over there. Thank you, Psychosocial, for letting us know. Scrooge's second appearance in The Old Castle Secret, first published in June 1948, had him recurring his nephews to search for a family treasure hidden in Downs and McDuck's ancestral family castle built in the middle of Rannoch Moor in Scotland. Foxy Relations first published in November 1948 and was the first story where Scrooge is called by his title and catchphrase, the richest duck in the world. Look how angry he is. The first hints of Scrooge's past, the story Voodoo Hoodoo, the first published in Dell's four-color comic 238, August 1949, was the first story to hint at Scrooge's past with the introduction of two figures. The first was Falazala old African sorcerer and chief of the voodoo tribe who cursed Scrooge, seeking revenge for the destruction of his village and taking of his tribe's lands by Scrooge decades earlier. Eugene, we're about to end it in a couple minutes, but thank you. But if I go live later tonight, understood. All right. It's like an after party stream. It'll be much later tonight. Much later, like very late. The second figure from Scrooge's past was Bombay the Zombie, the would-be assassin sent from Fola Zola to enact the sorcerer's curse and revenge. He sought Scrooge for decades before reaching Duckburg, mistaking Donald for Scrooge, barks with a note of skepticism often found in his stories, explained the zombie was a living person who has never died but has somewhat gotten under the influence of a sorcerer. Although some scenes of the story were intended as a parody, Bela Lugosi's White Zombies story for not only the focus. Oh, I didn't tell you about E.T. Stranded? I'll tell you right now. Okay, Kathy, good night. Thank you for stopping by. All right. Stranded, I talked about that a little bit earlier. So, all right. So, basically, we have E.T. So, E.T., he he is doing better.
He got a shot.
He got a shot.
Could have asthma, we're not sure.
He could have asthma or bronchitis, we're not too sure. And
Better than he was.
he's doing better than he was. And he could, in his x-ray, according to his x-ray, he has a similar type of skeleton or something, married to a similar throat to a dog. So it's pretty cool. He's plastic like a dog does. He wants to eat plastic like a dog does. So that's very interesting that he has.
The veterinarian, the radiologist, would have thought it was a dog by his throat, but it's not.
Yeah, the radiologist thought it would have been a dog, but it's not. So that's something fascinating about ET. So he's
It is.
yeah,
The alien ways about him.
yeah, he has alien ways about him, and my man Matt says ET phone home. Hilarious. And living person got under the influence. Yeah, thank you, Kathy. Take care. Under the influence of the sorcerer, although some scenes of the story were intended as a parody of Bela Lugosi. I read that. Later stories. Trial of the Unicorn, first published in February 1950, introduced Scrooge's private zoo. One of his pilots have managed to photograph the last living unicorn which lived in the Indian part of the Himalayas. Scrooge offered a reward to competing cousins Donald Duck and Gladstone Gander for whoever captured the unicorn for Scrooge's collection. This was also right. We don't let him eat plastic. We don't let him eat plastic, but he wants to. He also likes to bite. He bit me earlier. He likes biting.
Oh, he likes to bite.
He bites. He'll just go out of nowhere as hard as he
He
can,
likes to eat my hair.
and he likes to eat Mary Toodles' hair and take off her glasses.
Right. He's very smart.
He's very smart. Yes. Read 2 more paragraphs and we'll be done. This was also a story that introduced Scrooge's private airplane. Barks, who later established Scrooge as an experienced aviator. Donald had previously been shown as a skilled aviator, was Finn Hart, Gloomgold in the later stories. In comparison, Huey, Dewey, and Louie were depicted as only having taken flying lessons in the story Frozen Gold, published in 1945. The pixelated parrot, first published in July 1950, introduced a precursor to Scrooge's money bin in his story. Scrooge's central office building is said to contain 3 cubic acres of money. Two burglars, one of which is referred to as Birch, who briefly appear during the story, are considered to be precarious and of the Beagle Boys. Strand says, I'm glad AT's doing better. Take good care of him and give him a chin scratch for me. I will. Alrighty. Alright, so I am about to be ending the stream.
The door was irritating.
Yeah, I'm about to end the stream. I might do one extremely, extremely late tonight, and it'll be way in the AMs if I do it. I'm not too sure if I'll do it or not, but
Alien After Dark.
Alien After Dark, and maybe Sarah will be there or some other people. So if anybody was interested in that, they can go to that. But basically, I will be signing off, and good night, happy Friday to all of you, and everybody take care, and thank you for this first special. We'll be doing this every week, and thank you all for coming with us, chilling with us, and there'll be more to explore as time goes on, and peace. And that was the wrong screen. Peace.